Sure.
Good.
Hey, good morning, America. Good evening, India. This is Sean Shankaran. Today we are here with a very interesting topic: Constitution of India. Since the time ratification, it's 75 years. The entire Parliament for past couple of days have met on the request of opposition, discussing about Constitution of India, the way forward. I think everybody is talking about Ambedkar and many other things, and the democracy, whether India is still a democracy, many other aspects of our constitution, how it is remaining as a protective shield for India. Today, let's talk more about it, and let Sam give a quick introduction, and then we will have questions. And today we don't have any other guests, so it's going to be you guys and myself and Sam. Let's keep talking. Share your questions in LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. I'll be able to take it up. In case if you guys want to join on stage, just ping me in WhatsApp. I'll be able to get you onto stage. Go ahead, Sam.
Thanks, Sean. Greetings, everyone. As Sean said, there has been a lot of conversation going on in the Parliament on Constitution. I'm sure most of you are aware of Indian Constitution. If you just Google, you will see a great deal of history, content, sort of a broader overview of Indian Constitution. To me, Constitution in any country, or for that matter of any organization, is a document which essentially describes your belief, your values, and essentially a roadmap to live comfortably in that ecosystem environment. In family also, we have unwritten constitution where we understand the roles and relationships of various members. We sort of understand how to treat each other, respect each other. It guards our individual freedom. It provides justice. In the Indian Constitution, which was written, as Sean said, just about 75 years ago, is so very fundamental to Indian society that everyone is concerned about preserving that value system. Whenever these value systems are being attacked, people react to it. So when you look at Indian Constitution, the most important fundamental value that is being attacked today is freedom. Freedom to worship, freedom to treat other person with respect, equality, dignity, which ultimately reflects in economic benefits, reflects in security, safety. And Indian society is essentially built on diversity. Our founding fathers, rightfully so, focused early on building a secular nation and not a nation based on religion, like Pakistan decided. Our founding fathers fought very hard to preserve the concept of religious freedom, knowing that we have a large population of Hindus with Muslims, Sikhs, Christians, Buddhists, Jains, and many others. They all live side by side. They have freedom to pray what they want to pray, where they want to pray, when they want to pray. And that fundamental idea of secularism became the bedrock of Indian society. And we have fought for a long time to preserve that. In the process, we have made few mistakes here and there, but the core of it has remained intact. And today, when people talk about building Hindu Rashtra, people devote so much time and energy on temple building, on celebrating on national media at public expense stories about new temples or whatever. Some people get affected. It then reflects in how we treat minority, how minorities feel about safety and security. The other day, someone sent me a video where 3 Muslim children are being beaten up with shoes in both hands by Hindu fellow who says, "Speak Jai Shri Ram." And by mistake, one Muslim boy, little boy, says Allah, and he gets so much beating. And that one little clip of no more than maybe a minute says it a lot. It may be an isolated incident, but many people say that's not true. It is not an isolated incident. It happens all the time, everywhere, and that reflects how we view our constitution. So constitution also talks about how the government functions. It talks about executive branch, judiciary, legislation, all that, how government will function. But the core of it, to me, is all about character, values. And ultimately, it boils down to diversity, inclusion, freedom, justice, equity. And you see today that a lot of these things are not taken seriously because institutions are captured. So justice is denied to many people. Civil society is not allowed to function. Media is completely controlled. Public money is spent on unnecessary promotion of the government. Lies are propagated. Misinformation has become a way of life. And this is what concerns to many when we talk about undermining constitution. It is not one thing. Of course, the one core thing is basically respect for everybody, respect for minority, safety, security, justice, and all that. But it manifests in many different ways. We have seen in the last decade a rise of tension in the society. You talk to minorities, they feel very uncomfortable. And this is what people are talking about when they talk about preserving constitution. This is of concern all over the world. To me, constitution in a democratic country gets undermined in many different ways. When people become dictatorial, when decisions are made without proper processes and public participation from top down, it undermines constitution. When vice chancellor is selected based on political agenda, which ultimately undermines education, you are really playing with constitution. So it all depends on how you look at it. The concern today in the society is that Indian constitution is being attacked. Is being attacked because the fundamental values are not protected. And then it reflects in many different ways. Even if you look at elections, you can find out a little more about how elections are being conducted. And there also you find that the constitution is perhaps being undermined. So it percolates down into many different ways. It affects education, it affects health services, it affects governance, it affects judiciary, safety, security, and ultimately, a group of people get victimized in one way or the other. That is the fight that is going on today. It is very difficult for many to grasp, but at the same time, it is so very visible in multiple ways for people to see and experience. So with this background, let's have a broader conversation. I'm sure many of you have experienced in your own way some of this. You have been observing this for the last decade. And I know that in my friend circle, whether my Christian friends, Muslim friends, or others, Sikh friends, are concerned about this. Some are vocal and others are not. But there is a real fear in their mind, and we need to address it. I think it is the responsibility of the majority to really protect minority, protect in a way they should feel a part of the family, important part of the society. And sometimes you have to overdo it just to assure their safety and security. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. That was a great introduction. So today I thought I'll invite a few friends like Cynthia Stephen, who is independent social activist from Bangalore. So she has been collaborating with a lot of the non-profits, even during elections or even other times, to see how they can fight the fascist forces along with other liberal thinkers. So I'll let Cynthia give a quick kind of maybe what is your thinking on Constitution of India. It's been 75 years since it's ratified, and what do you think as a top fear which is preventing it to be shielded to protect its people?
Cynthia,
Um,
welcome. Cynthia, welcome.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for
much.
joining us. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my great pleasure. And the one thing that I really feel very proud about our constitution is that it is secular and it is also a constitution that upholds equality and fraternity. And so for me, one of the greatest things to do is to uphold what the constitution, the values that the constitution has for the citizens. And I think one of the fundamental uh, uniqueness, I would say one of the uniqueness of the Indian constitution is the fact that it is very citizen centric. And for instance, it has had a number of amendments, but one of the most significant ones for us in the present day, I would say especially in the present day, are the 73rd and 74th amendments. I have had a particular engagement with those two as my in my life with activism, because I have I have been a grassroots political and social activist, and eventually that engagement with the Panchayati Raj and women's empowerment put me on the committee, the state committee, Karnataka State Committee, which after 25 years amended the or actually, in a sense, we redrafted or updated the Panchayati Raj Act of Karnataka, and it was ratified by the then Siddaramaya's cabinet in December 2015. And one of the contributions of mine to that was, actually there were two things I was hoping to get in. One was, of course, how to support women's empowerment and participation, and enhance particularly the participation of the vulnerable sections, that is the minorities, the SC ST women who are part of the who are elected to be part of the local bodies. And because, as you know, the system in India is to encourage wives of active political actors at grassroots level or even at any level uh, to represent women. The really empowered women at the grassroots are not selected. The political parties are not comfortable with having independent political women as activists or as actors in the elections. So one of our thing was to how to make them more effective, and our suggestions included enhancing their effectiveness, that by giving them a paid qualified personal assistant to help, giving them creche facility, and paying for transport. At this point, there is no fund to give to remunerate even for transport. And many of these women who are elected representatives, they tend to be like, even if they're SC STs and all that, they can even be like landless agricultural workers with no income whatsoever. And so it's very, very difficult for them. So we made, in our law, we wrote in stipends and expenses for that. But the other thing that I was very keen on, but which didn't get written into the law, was Nyaya Panchayats, which have been implemented in Bihar, where the justice is meted out by elected local representatives supported by lawyers who are qualified locally. And so when justice becomes close to the people and administration includes effective participation of the most vulnerable sections, that is when the Constitution of India becomes closest to the people. And because our constitution is the most like I would say the most progressive, most pro people constitution in on paper, these will make it a real a reality in our lives, and that would be a very, very important thing. But the fact of the matter is that consistently, both at state and center, there is a denial of the people's of the resources that the third tier, or the most fundamental tier of governance, at the Panchayat Raj level, they're denied funds. So that the devolution of functionaries, funds, functions, and functionaries does not take place, and it stays with the bureaucracy, and often it stays with the MLAs and MPs. Now, this is a very is a development which is not good. And so the only best way to take on the present day um, uh, weaknesses in the system that we see is to empower these bodies, the local bodies, much more than they are presently empowered, the gram sabhas, and then parallelly build people's movements to support the grassroots movements. So I strongly believe that it is the common people, the poor, are the ones who are really have the greatest stakes in a secular, democratic, and equal constitutional functioning. And so that is what I would very much say. And to bring and my work among the women and in politics shows that there is a vast gap between the numbers and their numbers in the population and the numbers within the system, both in elections and in the bureaucracy, in the decision making processes. And the reason for that are three. One is lack of funds. For women, there are to be in politics or in public life, there is no funding. The men can utilize their family funding, but independent finances are not available, which is the reason why political families tend to bring in their daughters, sisters, wives, widows, these the family members, extended family members into politics. And so funds are one of the issues. Secondly, very often we have seen situations where the husband is the actor and the woman is not allowed or does not prefer to act as she should in the system. And one of the important things for the supports roles that we as activists have played is to train the elected women representatives to become more effective, make them understand their roles, responsibilities, and also to discourage the husbands and other people to put their head into the matter. That is why we said we will have an independent personal assistant who will be paid to help the woman in her works, who is at least a graduate, even if she's in a village. And the third thing is, make them effective community leaders. So if because of if there is no, if their role in community leadership is not accepted, then their role in governance, local body governance, is also weakened. So the way to do this is to give political funding to women who are independent and quality workers. This is one important thing. Secondly, to provide empowerment strategies for such women. And thirdly, to ensure, to support their role as leaders in the community by giving them official positions and enabling their leadership qualities to emerge, so that the community accepts them as legitimate leaders of their interests. And this is how we find that we need to act. I understood just a few days ago that the Congress party has a program called the Indira Gandhi Fellowship for women who are active in the ground. And I have been asked to see if I can do something to support that activity. And I'd be happy to do that, because I believe investing in fresh, new, and bringing in the experiences of women's lives into governance will fill a huge gap in decision making and in funding, in policy, and so that this way our policy making, our funding, and our governance becomes very much closer to the lived experience of citizens, especially the ones who are not active in politics. And those tend to be the youth, the women, and even the children. So that's what I would like to say.
Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity to share.
It was awesome. So I think same constitution can be looked with Ambedkar lens, Nehru lens, Gandhi lens. I think whatever you mentioned is with the Gandhi lens. So how we can empower more women, how we can empower local bodies, how we can kind of decentralize on funding as well as the power to the local bodies, a lot of these things, and even bringing justice and judiciary close to the people, which is Nyaya Panchayat, a lot of these aspects, right? I think many of these are Gandhi lists. I just want to ask one question to you, Cynthia. So whether Gandhi's dream in this 75 years, is it achieved 10%, 20%, or we are yet there to kind of achieve his mission or vision, dream? I think we have a very rock solid bedrock, which is this fundamental base constitution of India. But whether people are implementing it, the living, or in the letter and spirit of it. So, what do you think? Where are we on that whole journey in
Yeah,
the
I
Gandhi's?
feel, yeah, I feel that I mean, with the greatest of respect for one of the most important founding fathers, Gandhiji had a very good grasp of, at one level, very good grasp of the socio-economic situation on the in the village. But it at one in one level, one at one level that was not so strong. And I would suggest that Ambedkar had a very much stronger grasp of the meaning of women's empowerment and their roles, because he was actively involved in building the leadership of women, say for instance in the trade unions in Mumbai. And he used to encourage women workers to take leadership. I don't think there's any trade union right now who has women in the leadership, but Ambedkar's trade unions did have that. He was also the one who, in very concrete terms, as law minister both in the Viceroy's government and subsequently in Nehru's cabinet, do concrete things like offering, confirming the 8-hour working day, ensuring that women get maternal leave, and these kind of very, very structural things, which make it really empowering for women to become active in employment and in community leadership. I would say at one level, Gandhiji had a slightly backward looking tendency, though still progressive than his contemporaries and peers, in encouraging women's participation and leadership. And so I would say that uh, along with Gandhi's vision, which as you were asking how far we have gone, I would say that in fact Gandhi's vision has been weakening, because the third tier, which is the village panchayats, have been weakened steadily by the political establishment. Whereas on the other hand, Ambedkar's vision of industrialization, getting women to become active economic actors, these have a resonance in today's policy making. And also, for instance, the allocation of water, his vision for community farming. Community farms are very well done in by women in grassroots, very, very successful. And those were some of the ideas that actually Ambedkar brought in. So I think we have to take the best of both visionaries, or any other visionaries also, to build our society and make it stronger and more constitutional.
Awesome. I
Okay.
just want to go to Sam Pitroda. Sam, there's a question from Facebook, Abhishek Rathor. I think this may be your favorite.
If Rajiv ji was alive today, the
Alive
Panchayat
today.
Raj district would have
Yeah.
been
Let me read
agree.
it for you. Let
I
me read it.
totally agree with
Agree
this.
completely 100%.
Sam,
Completely agree with it.
for the audience, I'll read it. If Rajiv ji were alive today, true Panchayati Raj at district levels would have been established. What are
Yes.
you thinking?
Yes, definitely.
I think
We
one
are
of the
grateful
biggest
to his
challenge,
memory.
Yeah.
Yeah,
one of the biggest challenge today is to really implement district level government. I believe India is too complex, too diverse. It doesn't work if you push from top down. It has to be from bottom up. It'll be ideal if there were, let's say there are 800 districts. All 800 districts are given autonomy that you really need to implement their own development, whether it is education, health, roads, whatever. Today, the system is such that they don't have any freedom. They don't have their own budget with independence.
exactly.
It all gets decided from state, and state gets controlled from the center. It should be the other way around. District should be giving money to state to manage, and state should be giving money to federal government to manage.
Planning also.
Yes, yes, absolutely. But that's one aspect of constitution. Today, the real issue is little different. Of course, we need to worry about district level implementation. But unless and until we have equality, justice, safety, security, we can't function in the long run. So we got to provide basic structure to people to operate. If you go and attack churches, if you go and attack, mosque, and if you go and attack temples, it's not going to help anybody. Okay. And as a result, there will not be peace. Without peace, there cannot be prosperity. Peace is the starting point. Next.
Yeah. And in fact, I want to read this whole preamble and want to ask both of your thoughts. We, the people of India, have solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign democratic republic and to secure to all citizens justice, social, economic, and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith, and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact, and give to ourselves this Constitution. So, I think what are the couple of words which is popping to your mind, Sam, which I think right now we are not following in letter and spirit?
As I said earlier, our constitution basically is built on a secular nation. It is the bedrock of Indian society. If we cannot respect people with different belief, you cannot build peace in the society. If you just look at the Hindu-Muslim relationship, in India we have close to 200 million Muslims. That's a huge population. They are very much part of a nation. They cannot be treated like a second-class citizen. They cannot be hated. They cannot be harassed, okay, like Sikh or like Christians or like Buddhist. Okay. To me, that is the fundamental issue today. Okay. Are we going to build a secular nation, or are we going to build a nation that is only for one group of people, where one group of people are preferred and others are sort of knowingly treated as second-class citizen? This is the fundamental issue. Everything else flows from this.
Sure. Secularity of the country is what is the major one, which is in kind of
That's a fundamental. From there comes diversity, from there comes inclusion, from there comes equality, justice, all of that. Okay.
Sam, see, as a Dalit himself, or kind of as a role model for all the people coming from the Dalit community, Ambedkar gave a lot of protection for uh, Dalit community through the constitution. So, do you think India has solved? I think it's a multi-century long issue
No,
problem.
India has not solved. India has not solved that issue. The caste system still is intact in India. Okay. It is embedded in our culture, and very few people can get out of it. If I meet somebody, I never ask what is their caste. I don't care. Okay. It never even enters my mindset to ask somebody, what is your caste? To me, you're a human being. My caste is humanity. Okay. You may look different, you may pray different, you may eat different food. That's your privilege. Okay. So it all depends on what you believe in, genuinely believe in. Yeah.
Whether Rahul asking for this caste census across the country and in many of the states, is it an acknowledgement that okay, Congress was there in power for many years,
I
but
think it's
still
very
we
simple. What
yeah,
Rahul is saying is very simple. He's saying, look, today in government, in universities, in the key jobs, large number of people are not represented. Handful of people control all the key positions, so they make decisions according to their background. He talks about IAS officers, or he talks about,
the secretaries in the government.
government and others. And he's right when he says, look, 10% of the people control 90% of the jobs, and 90% of the people are not represented more than 10%. Now, this has to be corrected over a period of time. It cannot be done overnight. It is unfortunate that we have taken 75 years to correct that. Everybody is to be blamed. Let's not go into who did what to whom. Let's look forward. In looking forward, we need to know what is the role of Dalit, OBC, minorities in nation building. I never realized that I'm a son of an OBC. It never occurred to me. Okay. Because I was in boarding school, then I came to America and all that. And I sort of lucked out. Okay. How many people get this opportunity? Because in your family, people are not educated. In my family, my father had fourth grade education. So you don't really get this opportunity to climb the ladder. And as a result, your voice is not represented in the system. So what we are saying is we need bhagidari. Bhagidari implies that if you are 10%, ultimately there should be some balance. Doesn't have to be exact 10%. Okay. If you are 20% of the population, maybe you should have 20% vice chancellors from your community. Okay, but you can't have 2%, 0%. I think that is what we are fighting about. It is not necessarily a plan to fix this overnight. It cannot be done overnight. Yeah. But we got to be aware of it. We got to know, and that's what census is all about. We need to know what is the situation. Vice Chancellor is a great example. If you have 1,100 universities in India, okay, let's just take 1,100 vice chancellors. Okay, how many are Dalit? How many are Muslims? How many are Christians? How many are, OBC? How many are Brahmins or whatever? Okay, and study it and understand it. Okay, not that you fire all 1,100 same day. That's not the idea. Okay. But can we be conscious of it? Okay. And in the process, somebody would say, "Oh, but you will promote a little bit of inefficiency." That's okay, because your method of judging efficiency and inefficiency may not work in this case. Okay. I think there was a question.
Yeah, I'll read it for you, Sam. Washim Naqshbandi from Facebook is asking, what should Congress do curb the idea of RSS and save constitution? I think he has also a follow-up question. What Congress should do to stop the idea of RSS, which is against constitutional values? So,
Look, RSS has been around for 100 years. Most of the time, RSS was weaker, dormant. For last couple of decades, they have captured the imagination of the people through election. They run the government. And unless and until people of India realize that communalism is not going to solve national challenges. Unless and until people of India react, no one party or Congress or one leadership can do anything. Congress is doing everything possible to promote equality, justice. But if people of India want to believe in RSS, temples, and God all the time, they will pay ultimately. India will pay. Okay. So it's a national issue. It is not a political party issue. Okay. I mean, how could a Hindu boy start beating Muslim children just because they believe in Allah and not believe in Ram? I mean, what does that have to do with political party? Okay. But that boy gets, or that man is empowered by political slogan. Okay. Shame for all of us that these kinds of things happen. It is not just shame for Congress party. It is not just shame for you and me. It is shame for everybody. And that's how we'll have to look at this.
Sure, sir. Our friend Dr. Amit Saini is saying Congress
Congress needs to revive, what was it? Hold on.
and needs
Needs
to
to take
take up
social
social causes for the betterment of the people.
Yeah, agree.
So where are we heading, Sam? The 75 years, okay, we may not be there despite a strong constitution. So do you think there are more things to be done, amendments, kind of to continue protect the sovereignty of the
No, I
country?
don't think there is a question. It is not a question of amendment or anything. It's a question of really values, what you believe in. I mean, it's all there in documentation. Okay. But do we really believe in equality? How do we treat our drivers? How do we treat our servants? Why do we have so many slums? Because the rich guys living in, fancy 2 crore apartment has 3 servants, and they don't worry about their servants. They don't care where they live. I don't think any of those people have ever visited their servant's home. Okay, they don't give a damn. That is the issue. Okay, issue is how do we treat other human beings? Do we treat them with respect, dignity? The other day I was talking to a young man who had just visited India, and we were after many years, and we were talking about all the great progress he saw. And then he said, I was in a business class on the flight, and I was so disappointed the way the young people in business class treated hostesses. They were abusive, they were demanding, and it shows how new rich think they have arrived. They have not arrived with respect and dignity for other human beings. They have arrived to show their power. Now, it's not written in Constitution, how you should treat air hostess. But that's the core of the value system. And how Dalits are treated. I mean, how could you have somebody say, look, you are Dalit and you can't enter temple? It's a funny thing. Okay, temple is a place of worship. Anybody should be able to enter. Okay, but you have all these things in India. Okay, that has to change, and it can change only from our behavior, okay, from our attitude, from our values. Okay. Document is a document.
This week was the centenary year of that Vaikam movement, the Vaikam temple entry movement, which Periyar led. So 100 years ago, 1924, I think he collaborated with Mahatma Gandhi and the Congress Party and many others like Madhavan Nair in a kind of a city called Vaikam in Kerala. So to get underrepresented sections of the kind of India to enter into the streets of the temple. Then not even into the temple; it's streets of the temple, streets close to the temple. So I think it's a kind of a long journey. I think people have come a long way. So I think that's a question from Pradeep Singh, which is very interesting. It kind of has a slight right wing angle to it. I deeply value the importance of uplifting underrepresented sections of our society as it is essential to ensure equality of opportunity and to address historical disadvantages. At the same time, I believe that the reservation system should focus on helping the first generation within such communities to overcome systemic barriers and gain equitable access. Once the foundation is established, subsequent generations who have benefited from these opportunities may no longer require the same level of support. This approach could ensure that the benefits of reservation are extended to others who are still struggling and remaining underrepresented. It is about creating a system that continually identifies and supports those in the greatest need.
This is something we should debate, discuss, agree on. These are the kind of issues we need to debate. Okay. I agree that, at some point in time, you have the opportunity and you got to give room to some others. Of course, I agree with that. But it takes time.
It's we are not in a position to really determine because it's a centuries of oppression, right? So I don't know. That's where I think the country has kind of challenges in determining whether we have really uplifted and people can move on.
But it can begin with the new generation. What he's saying is very right, that let's begin with the generation. And if there is one generation that says we believe in equality, if today all schools are taught this, maybe in 5 years, 10 years, these young kids, when they come to workforce, they will treat people with respect and dignity. Okay. And then hopefully it will trickle down. Okay. But it has to start somewhere.
Yeah, sure. There should be conversations. Amit Saini is saying Congress should have a non-political front to carry out its social vision for the people. Unfortunately, Congress fight elections after the term ends. In between, the Congress leaders lose touch with the common man.
Congress has Sevadal. Congress has women's organization. Congress has youth Congress. Congress has professional Congress. But some of these things don't work because people in general don't take these things seriously. Okay. And we all take Brahminian approach, and that is to advise everybody. Brahmin's job is to advise everybody. And we all love that. Okay. Sudra's job is to get it done. Nobody wants to get it done. Okay. Why can't any party, and I think RSS has done very good job at it, have a cadre at district level, at taluka level, at panchayat level, of people who promote these things. Okay. I mean, take for example Sevadal. Why can't Sevadal have in every district 1,000 people? You have 800 districts, so you have 800,000 people, who are available in crisis to the society. If there is a fire, Sevadal people will be there. If there is an accident, Sevadal people would be there serving people. But you don't have it.
Okay, another important topic, which is the ballot stuff. I think there's a lot of movement across country. Mahmood Prachas, Deva Sahayams, many others are protesting across the country. So they are kind of gathering a lot of people. Even political parties are joining the fray now. So, and also Priyanka Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, a lot of people are speaking about it. So how can we challenge this existing administration to bring back ballot so that there is transparency? There is electoral system is kind of manipulated, which is what everybody is acknowledging. So it's not just EVM. There are many parts to it. So kind of removal of voters and injection of voters, many aspects to it. So I think, but it fundamentally ties back to saving the constitution. So they have hijacked this whole constitution by introducing RSS game plan. I think Subramania Swamy has written an article how they have a very systematic plan to dismantle the constitution in year 2000 itself, when he was a president of Janata Party before joining RSS. So just want to hear your thoughts, Sam, on this particular aspect. What do you think about the protests happening across the country on this bringing back ballot, banning EVM?
We should have taken this task forward maybe 2 years ago. According to me, we are a little late, but it's good to be paying attention to it. It is not about EVM. It is not about paper ballot. It is about the whole election process and the trust deficit. People have lost trust in election commission, in election process, whether it is voter list or EVM, VVPAT, receipt, where do you drop the receipt, counting, 17C forms, storing of the machines, manufacturing, software version, whole lot of things go into this election process. That process is not working. We have seen large number of votes after 5. We have seen problems with storing these machines. Some people talk about tampering. So unless and until we clean up the election process, you cannot trust your democracy. That's a starting point. It's interesting. Last night, I happened to watch a program on BBC where there were 6 Nobel laureates across a round table talking about AI. A very interesting conversation. And some Indian fellow, some Indian student or young fellow, this was going on in Stockholm, asked a question about how AI could improve democracy. And sort of answer drifted, and there was no real conversation on the answer. But AI could play an important role in democracy. I thought about it afterward, and I said the starting point would be election process. How can AI be used to make sure that the vote you are counting is what you have casted? AI should be able to help in judiciary. AI should be able to help in security, safety. AI should be able to help in equity. So these are some of the real issues in democracy. If you really identify 10 key issues in democracy and focus on those, I think it's good enough.
How, Sam?
Election is the most important thing. Okay.
I have a question. So,
Please.
you think the introduction of a very small piece of technology, EVM itself, has led to so much corruption, and I think they were able to kind of inject their manipulative techniques to
Possible. It's like any technology. It has good side and there's a bad side. Nuclear technology is a classical example. Okay. Knife is another example. You can cut fruits and you can kill somebody. Okay. So EVM probably turned out to be like that. Our intention was good, but the bad elements have taken over. Social media is another big example. Social media has been taken over by bad elements in the society. And that's why misinformation, lies, and all kinds of, hacking and cheating and, manipulating pictures and sending false information on people, attacking their characters. You can do anything. And then now you have to defend it. It's a funny thing. Okay. You attack me with false information, and it is my job to defend me. Okay. I have nothing to do with it. Okay. So, bad elements in the society have really now played an important role in cornering power, cornering profit. Look at the drug business. Okay. I mean, now they are finding out that the Assad, I don't know whether it is true or false, but I saw on TV that Assad funded his regime through selling drugs. Now, can you believe that? Yeah. So, whenever bad elements take over, they misuse. So, EVM was misused. EVM was not designed for the bad element to misuse. But what do? You will find more and more of this.
But
People
I
are
see
worried about AI because they think bad elements will take over AI and would create havoc.
But I see a point, a valid point in your argument where, see, even only with the help of technology, now we are able to predict there is a fraud, right? By doing analytic models, etc. stuff now. Okay.
But how many things you do like that? Because the bad elements can go on multiplying. Okay. See, so, I mean, we are talking at a different level. The real challenge today in the world is to really improve quality of people. No one is paying attention to that. Saying, how do I improve quality of human beings? So you go on reducing bad elements over a period of time. Today, bad elements are controlling the system. Okay. How do I create good people who are more interested in truth, trust, love, equality, justice, decency, respect, dignity? How do I do that? Okay. How do I, and I keep saying this all the time, that the real focus should be on planet and people and not on profit and power. But all bad elements are interested in profit and power because profit is considered good, power is considered good. Okay. And focusing on people is for the poor people to worry about. Focus on planet is for the tree huggers to worry about. How do you change that? That is a bigger challenge for humanity. Until there are bad elements in large number, we'll all pay for it.
Sure, sir. We are on the top of the hour. So, in fact, I want to ask one thing, which is I'm always inspired by the American Constitution, which is, though they are not perfect, they are always learning. I think the pursuit of happiness, which is documented as part of their Constitution itself. Do you think India should get into that kind of zone where that basic, see, right now we are talking about rights, we may not be there yet to first even protect even the rights of the people. Can we pursue happiness of our people? Is
It
those?
is implied. To me, it is implied. Okay. Freedom, justice ultimately leads to happy society. Equality, all of these are sort of designed to pursuit of happiness. Okay. It may not be explicit in words, but is implied. Why are we doing all this? So that people are given justice, treated with respect, have equal opportunities. Okay. And that leads to pursuit of happiness.
Sure, sir. So I think I just want to summarize with this appeal which MG Devasayam has made as a group of voters will must prevail. They have formed a group along with Professor Harish Karnik, Tista Sitalvat, Dolphy D'Souza, Tara Rao. So I think along with the bringing back ballot, he is requesting opposition and civil society to do a bunch of things, which is mass agitation, which is how the Election Commission of India will follow the Representation of People's Act 1951 in letter and spirit, so that people mandate prevails. So he's clearly claiming the Section 59 is kind of allowing only paper ballot kind of thing, not an electronic voting machine. So and also response to notice to ECI. So there are notices given by the civil society as a group called Vote for Democracy. They have found out a lot of vote manipulation, misconduct during voting and counting during Lok Sabha elections 2024. They have given notice, omnibus notice to Election Commission. They have not responded. And they are also asking for impeaching the Chief Election Commissioner, because he has done a lot of grave violation of their constitutional and legal duties by inter alia misleading and playing fraud upon the people of India as well as the judiciary, including the Honorable Supreme Court. And also, there is an appeal on undo the fraud, initiating strong and well-prepared legal proceedings, including election petitions, to seek setting aside the elections of fraudulently elected members of parliament and legislative assemblies in the last 6 months and delineated in the Representation of People Act. And also, the last but not least, infiltration of political parties. There are Sanghi elements in many of the India bloc political parties, is what they are kind of concerned, the civil society is concerned. And they said, to avoid repeated sabotage from the inside and to ensure more robust fight to defend democracy. So I think these are a bunch of other 5 requests other than bringing back ballot. MG Devasagayam has made along with a group of good amount of civil society. So maybe we should see how we can do this to bring back or save constitution, which is in its 75 years now. So I'll let you summarize, Sam.
No, I think we had a good conversation, on constitution. If all of those who participated today, or those who will look at this video later on, begin to change their personal day-to-day attitude towards minority and focus more on humanity, I think it will go a long way. Action by each one of us really make our constitution stronger. How we react to minorities, how we respect diversity, how we are conscious of caste, all these issues in India become very important, especially today, in light of what is going on. I hope that younger generation realize their role in the future to build a society where everyone is respected, where religious freedom is assured. To me, secularism is the bedrock of Indian society. And that is being attacked today. And everything flows from that attack. So I would request all those who watch this is to be conscious of it. Understand that other person is a fellow human being. And he deserves or she deserves the same respect you deserve. And then I think we would have just done justice to our constitution. Thank you.
Awesome. So viewers, next 2 weeks, we thought people are in holiday mode across the world. So unless otherwise there is a topic of very important nature, we may be breaking for next 2 weeks, and then we'll meet you guys by January. Is that okay, Sam?
That's a good idea. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year and Merry Christmas and all those things to everybody. Enjoy your holidays. Be with your family and make best out of the time you have with the family and friends. Enjoy.
Happy holidays. See you guys in New Year. Thank you. Bye, Sam.